Dollemocracy. Facing down pessimistic politics with realistic optimism.
So one person that we really love on this show is Manu Raju.
Yeah.
And I had the thought, because I'm watching all these reporters chase after these politicians in the halls of Congress with their phones out.
Yeah.
How fun would it be, right? Because you get to basically harass people for a living.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. We also, it lets us a little window into what Brittany Page's ideal life would be like.
It looks fun. They get to harass and bully people. It's really exciting. So
Well, at their jobs.
they get paid for it.
Yeah, no, but it's at the people's job, and the person who you're harassing, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's their job to take the harassment.
Yeah. Again, they deserve it though.
Oh, yeah.
And I
especially this week.
It feels like harassment to them, but again, it is them holding power to account.
It's a joke about the harassment.
Yeah, the comment section is, So we love Manu Raju, who works for CNN, and in the aftermath of this shooting, there has been a lot of pressure on politicians because this has become a normal part of society. There's been 130 mass shootings this year.
Yeah, over 130.
That's more than there have been days in this year.
Yeah.
And so there's been, renewed conversation about what are you going to do? And Manu Raju took some time to ask various Republicans in this news package what they plan to do.
It's an all too familiar story, tearing apart communities and devastating families. Mass shootings, 130 in this year alone, including the rampage at a Christian school in Nashville, leaving 6 victims dead, including 3 9-year-olds. But on Capitol Hill, little has changed.
So why not limit to AR-15s? Why not put a ban on that?
If you're going to talk about the AR-15, you're talking politics now. Let's not get into politics. All right, let's not get into emotion, because emotion feels good, but emotion doesn't solve problems.
Sounds like they got a legit active shooter at a school.
An AR-15 was one of the weapons possessed by the killer during Monday's massacre, and has been frequently used in mass shootings following the 2004 expiration of the assault weapons ban. But President Biden lacks the support from Republicans, who control the House and can block legislation in the Senate. They argue such a ban is ineffective and infringes on constitutional rights.
Why not take action to ban AR-15s in the aftermath of all these terrible shootings?
Because I believe in the Second Amendment, and we shouldn't penalize law-abiding American citizens.
The senator from Tennessee also declining to embrace further restrictions.
What about banning those weapons that were used in attacks like these?
I'm certain that politics will wave into everything, but right now I'm not focused on the politics of the situation. I'm focused on the families.
Even Andy Ogles, whose district includes the Covenant School in Nashville, is a longtime supporter of access to high-powered weapons.
Why not ban AR-15s?
Why not talk about the real issue facing this country in regards to this shooting, which would be mental health?
But Congress did take steps to address mental health when it passed the most ambitious gun law in a generation just last year. Now even GOP supporters of that law are skeptical of any more Hill action.
At the end of the day, I don't know if there's much space to do more, but I'll certainly look and see.
But with mass shootings up sharply in the last few years, Democrats say that it's time to force a vote.
We need a fight in Congress, and I'm prepared to conduct that fight. Others are as well.
It's a fight Republicans are willing to have.
Why are you opposed to reinstating this ban?
Well, a lot of people use ARs and AKs for sporting purposes. I've fired both of those things, so both of those firearms for sporting purposes. But listen, let's stay focused on the issue at hand, which isn't some generic question about guns. It's what happened to these children in this school by this shooter.
Number 2 Senate Republican John Thune about this issue, also given that there have been 130 mass shootings in just this year alone, whether any action is needed legislatively. He said it's, quote, premature. And also the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, for the last 2 days has not answered questions about this issue. I just tried to ask him about this again. He would not respond to any questions about whether action should be taken here. But McCarthy would, along with the rest of his House Republican leadership team, voted against that bipartisan safety law that Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell supported just last year. Phil.
Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Thanks so much.
So Monteraju alluded to an exchange that he had with John Thune. We'll get to that in a minute, but we want to talk about the specific Republican responses here.
Yeah.
And it's all the same things that we hear every single time, right? Even the referencing mental health that you heard there. I mean, how many times are we going to have a conversation trying to blame mental health? Other countries have comparable rates of mental health issues as the United States, and yet they do not have this problem because the variable that is really driving all of this is the ease of access to weapons, the number of guns that we have in this country.
And in too many cases, weapons of war. The AR-15 is an analog. It's pretty much a carbon copy. There's a few elements that are taken away, but it's an M16A2 service weapon. It is the same small arms that I carried in the Marine Corps. It's the same caliber. It doesn't have a 3-round burst, but it's semi-automatic. It's the same gun.
Right, and you heard Josh Hawley there. That was Josh Hawley talking about how, well, I've shot these weapons and a lot of people use them for game. Okay. Well, a lot of people are also using them to kill other people. And they'll always say, "Oh, well, handguns, if we ban assault weapons, people still have handguns." Yeah. Again, it's like they say if we don't pass something to magically make any crime stop at
all of it go away, right?
Yeah, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? It's like these incremental things that we could do to reduce the rates of violence and mass death. No.
Universal background checks. We could close the gun show loophole. We could have red flag laws at a federal level. There are many things we could do.
Well, and Biden has called on Congress to pass the assault weapons ban.
Again, well, that's the first thing we should do is to ban the AR. There is no reason why a weapon of war should be in the hands of a civilian walking the streets of this country. The difference between someone having access to a handgun and an AR-15 are oceans of difference between the weapons. Mm-hmm. The level of mass casualty and death and destruction that you can visit upon targets with an AR-15 it dwarfs what you could do with a handgun. It's just different. It's fucking different. And then these coward Republicans who think that they're fooling the American people. Well, it's too soon. It's too soon. Well, when? When is it not too soon? If we have multiple shootings every single day in this country, then it's always going to be too soon. It's never going to be time to talk about it.
We're living in the aftermath of a mass shooting every day.
Every fucking day. And to say, well, this is political. Well, when you talk about the AR-15, now it's political. We can't get political about this. Well, unfortunately for these dumb shits, politics and getting political is the only way that we're going to be able to make a difference here, that we're going to make any kind of change is through the political system in our country. What do they expect? They've tried to pray the problem away. They've tried to thoughts and prayer the problem away. That's not working. And we still have dead kid after dead kid after dead kid, and Republicans just do not care.